these things in our life, it's not because of the things that we do. It's purely what He does in our life. Go on to the next verse. And he talks about Abraham as an example. Don't these things happen among you just as they happened with Abraham? He believed God. Now see, there is our part right there in a nutshell. He believed God, and that act of belief was turned into a life that was right with God. So what's our goal? What's our... what should we do? Well, we should believe, trust in Him. Believe means to trust in Him, to rely upon Him, to place all of our confidence in Him. Not in ourselves, but in Him. Now, could you go back, Anton, one more time to Colossians chapter 1, just for a second? I just want to get one more thought that we've already read. One more. Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 2, verse 2. It'd help if I'd give you the right reference. And give me the, I want to get the message here. I read the King James ones. I just want to get a little thought here from the message. I mentioned it a while ago. I want you woven into a tapestry of love, in touch with everything there is to know of God. Then you will have minds confident and at rest, focused on Christ, God's great mystery. Now see, the goal, or what He wants for us, as He says here in this verse, is to have minds confident and at rest. With that in mind, go back quickly to, and I'm almost done, Matthew's Gospel, chapter 11, verse 23, something Jesus said. Matthew chapter 11, verse 23. Minds confident and at rest, focused on Christ. I'm sorry, verse 28. I said 23, I meant 28. Yeah, 23 wasn't a very good verse. 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Did you notice the word rest in this verse? I'm pointing it out to you. And notice that He says, come to me. Notice He didn't say, come to a doctrine, or not even come to the church, although the church is good. We're here in church, by the way. You know why we're here in church? To talk about Him. To talk about Him. You know why I'm standing up here? Not because I'm something special, but to draw your attention to Him. You know why we're reading from the Bible? To learn about Him. Because you know what the Christian life is all about? It's all about Him. What's our part? Well, He says, come unto me, Jesus says, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Have you noticed that how much of this has to do with us believing in Him and the message being all about Him, and the result is we should have rest? Well, what kind of rest is He talking about? Next verse. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. I am meek and lowly in heart. You shall find rest for your souls. Now, usually we just use the word soul to refer to just our spiritual selves, but really it has a specific meaning. If you look it up at the concordance, the Greek word translated soul is suche, P-S-U-C-H-E. If you saw it in print, it looks like psyche. And that's exactly what it's talking about. The psyche. What is the psyche? That's what the psychologist spends his time studying. You know what the psychologist studies? You know what he spends his time on? Yeah, the mind, the will, the emotions, the thought, the decision-making processes, the psychology, the psyche, the mind. Sometimes this word psyche is translated mind in the New Testament. And that's where, by the way, listen to me, that's where we need rest most of all. I'm just going to let that sink in on you. That's where we need rest. It's good to rest your body. I agree with that. I like it when I sit down in the easy chair and can rest a little while. But where I need rest and where you need rest more than any other place is right up here. And Jesus says, here's how I will give you rest for your souls, for your psyche, when you come to me. That's what Paul said. I want your minds to be confident and at rest. Remember that? Focused on Christ, God's great mystery. Take my yoke upon you, learn of me. I'm meek, lowly in heart. You'll find rest for your souls. Notice the next verse. I like this one. My yoke is easy, Jesus said. My burden is light. Well, you're just making it too easy. That's what somebody said one time. It wasn't my idea. I read this verse here. Jesus said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. I don't know. Well, I think you got the idea. I've said enough now. Let's all stand up.